From the Intellifluence headquarters in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, this is the Intellifluence Influencer Spotlight. In each episode, we sit down with an influencer from our network and we discuss their background as well as their unique approach to influencer marketing. Ashley Renne is a popular green living Intellifluence influencer and the creator of the blog Travel Lushes, which focuses on sustainable travel, lifestyle, and tech. Ashley helps savvy travel addicts live adventurously green lives and dive deep into the local culture of each destination she features. Previously, Ashley held producer and editor positions with major brands such as the Weather Channel, the Home Depot, and WebMD. In addition to Ashley's blog, you can check out her Travel Lushes YouTube channel, where she regularly posts stunning travel videos and informative reviews. Well, let's get started. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in influencer marketing?
Sure. So I actually, I guess got started in content creation a long time ago. It's just, I don't know, I guess it's in my blood. Creativity is in my blood. So when I was in high school, I was in a broadcast program, like a TV broadcast program, and we did like a daily news show at our high school. And so that's kind of how I got into like video production. So video production has always been my main thing. I went to school for film. I've been in corporate America since I was 19. I started out at the Weather Channel, then as a producer. Then I went on to HomeDepot.com and I was an editor. And then I went to WebMD and I was a senior video editor. And while I was at WebMD, I was also doing on-camera hosting work. And I don't know, it's like I loved what I was doing, but there was something missing. Because I love editing, sure, I love video production. That's like my skill set, but my passion is travel. So I was like, well, I feel like, if I'm going to live the life that I really want to live, I need to combine my skill set with my passion. So I made the leap of faith and I ended up leaving corporate America, and I took like a whole year hiatus from working because I had been working since I was 19, or actually a teenager. So I think 16 is when I actually first started. So I had literally never had a break from working. So I just traveled and was creating content and building up my portfolio, and then finally launched my video production company. And all in the meantime, I was also building up my blog and my Instagram page and everything. And so I kind of stumbled into influencer marketing because I realized that, people are looking for, people who have these skill sets, in content creation. And it's so much different from traditional advertising. I mean, the power that, just regular people like me have in terms of delivering a message can go so much further than, say, putting a commercial ad on television. So that's kind of how I stumbled into it. And I just fell in love with being able to create my own content and just having like the creative freedom to kind of put together my own content and photography and video and put it out there into the world for people to see and enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And I know you travel a lot, and you're also into preserving the environment and being eco-friendly. So when you're traveling, do you only stay at accommodations that are eco-friendly? So like hotels that are into water conservation?
For the most part, that's what I look for. Although I feel like a lot of hotels are kind of moving in that direction anyway. Like almost every hotel I go to, I always see something on the door that's like, hey, we'll pay you money, $5 a day if you choose not to, have your towels taken or your bed sheets changed. So I feel like a lot of hotels are starting to become more eco-aware, but there are definitely some who stand out way more than others. Like I actually went to Thailand last year, and I specifically worked with a company that specializes in going around the world and looking for green hotels. And man, I just stayed at some resorts that were just on a whole other level when it comes to, being eco-friendly and just eco-consciousness in general. And they really, really set the bar pretty high. So, now when I go to hotels, I kind of look for those things. And I always end up comparing the resorts that I stay to and the hotels I stay to now to those hotels that I stayed at in Thailand.
It's funny, I just got done staying at a hotel in Vegas that had the eco-friendly, conserve water please signs everywhere. And that's awesome, out in the desert, totally makes sense. And then I read about how much water they're pumping through the fountains each year. So that was interesting. Now, so you mentioned on Facebook how with your husband's career and your career, you hardly have time to see each other.
Oh, no.
with having your career take up so much of your time, so how do you structure your average workday in terms of, relationships, in terms of the workload in all your different areas?
Oh yeah, that's funny. I feel like there is no average work day. Every day is so different, especially when you're in the travel field. So I say there's kind of like two different structures. So there's like my at-home structure, and then there's my traveling and working structure. So when I'm at home, obviously it's a lot easier to spend time with my husband. Although it's funny because even when I am here, I'm still working, right? So I had to, I hate to say the word train, but I had to train him to, look at what I was doing as work. Just because I'm at home, that doesn't mean you can just bust in, my office whenever you want and be like, hey, can you help me out with this thing? Or, oh my God, let me tell you about my day. And I'm like, okay, I have office hours, babe. So like respect the office hours. But he's gotten really, really good about that. Because he really likes to talk. And I think that's what keeps our relationship so strong is he's a talker. Like he calls me like every 5 minutes. He calls me and asks me my opinion for everything. He calls me to tell me about his day or like what happened at work. So we talk a lot. And I think that really helps. Like I always tell people like, if you're going to go down this, rabbit hole of being an influencer or a content creator and you're in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship with somebody who is literally like your best friend. Like Carl is my best friend, first and foremost. Like, we talk about everything. He helps me with my business. He's like my confidant. He gives me advice. He helps me negotiate. He like reads all my emails. Like he's just a really good partner in general. And, I think our relationship is just so strong that the distance honestly does not even matter because even when we first got together, we were always apart. And it's like whenever I do come home, it's like no time has even like passed between us because we act like, we see each other every day because we talk to each other every day. So when I'm at home, that's kind of like my structure. I just wake up, I make sure I have office hours and like do not interrupt me during my office hours. But then when I'm abroad, it's a whole different story. Like sometimes it's really hard to get things done. So I'm actually like really happy for the time that I have when I'm at home because I can actually spend time like really focusing on my editing and, my content creation and getting stuff out and, putting out my blog posts, writing my blog posts, writing my Instagram captions, just catching up on a lot of office work in general. But when I'm abroad or when I'm just traveling, I'm on the go all the time. Like, for example, like if you want to get like the best Instagram shots, right? You're going to have to wake up super early because you want to go to places when it's not super crowded. You want to try to get that beautiful light, that good morning sunrise light. And then again, you also want to capture sunset shots. So you're literally on the go throughout the entire day, planning out your entire day around the sun because the sun is very important. I tell people lighting is like one of the most important things when it comes to taking photos. So you literally, a lot of people think that travel Instagrammers or just travel bloggers in general, we're just always on vacation. It's not a vacation. Like I will never forget the time when a person told me that she wanted to go on a trip and she was like, I haven't had a vacation all year. But I had to tell her like, this isn't a vacation, like this is work. I mean, it's part of our job to make it look like it's nothing but a vacation and like we're not doing any work, but we are. It's constant work. You don't get a whole lot of sleep. You're constantly on the go. You're creating the content, you're Instagramming, you're taking Instagram stories, you're taking professional photography. Me, I also have a YouTube page, so I'm blogging on top of that. And I'm trying to take a mental note of everything that I'm experiencing so that I can write a blog post about it. And I want it to be as authentic as possible at the same time. So I want to have a good time. So even though I'm like walking around literally like with this huge backpack on my back with all this equipment, I'm still trying to be a normal tourist at the same time. So there's definitely an art involved with creating content as a travel influencer, travel content creator, however you want to word it.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned how you also vlog because I saw on your YouTube channel that you have 10 tips on how to travel while remaining eco-friendly. So have you learned any more tips since you've created that video that you could share?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I created that video. That was actually probably the start of my brand kind of transforming into that direction. And I'll tell you what inspired me to even go down that direction in the first place. I'd gone on an annual girls trip to Bali. And I was in shock when I got there. I just remember arriving on this beach and there was trash everywhere. I mean, just piles and piles of trash in different places. And for the life of me, I could not understand like why these beautiful beaches were littered with trash. And so, it's a combination of many different factors, but because I am a travel blogger, I like to educate travelers in particular on their role in, how they can be more eco-friendly as travelers. And so, what I've learned is there are just like little things that you can do. Like, for example, one thing I didn't put in the video was I didn't talk about sunscreen. So you have to think about like some of the products that you use. Like anytime you're going to a beach, whether it's a local beach or you're traveling, try to use sunscreen that specifically is eco-friendly, because, that stuff is getting into the ocean. Just think about anything that you're wearing, anything that is on your body, your hair products. You have to be kind of aware of what is going on you in terms of your lotions, your sunscreen, your hair products, because that's going into the ocean, and it's harming the sea life. And it just breaks my heart when I see like a lot of the videos that I've seen on Facebook and YouTube, just showing like some of those poor animals out there just suffering. Even something as small as like bringing a reusable straw. And I know that sounds gross, but I promise you, like, there's a way to do it. But you can bring reusable utensils with you, like metal utensils. You can opt to use paper straws, because if you look at some of the videos that are out there, you'll see that like these plastic straws are getting stuck in like the noses of like sea turtles and different sea animals, and they can't breathe and they die. So they're just like little things that you can just do just to be more aware in terms of like the products that you use, and just trying to stay away from plastic. Plastic is a big one, because, it's like, just think about like anything that you use, it's going to end up in the ocean somewhere. Like, you might not see it here in the United States, but it's going to wash up on the shores of Bali or Thailand or some faraway country, and you won't even realize it.
I actually saw in your video though that you mentioned to not go to like animal attractions like the zoo and watch tigers. But I actually visited Australia recently, and this got me thinking. I went to Steve Irwin's zoo, and his is more for animal conservation. Would you go to attractions that way, as they're more like preserving the animals?
Yeah, you have to do your research though. I would definitely go to a sanctuary or a place that specializes in conservation, but it's like you have to really do your research, because now a lot of these animal attractions are starting to get really savvy, because a lot of people are starting to be more aware, because you have a lot of bloggers talking about this issue, and they're tweaking the wording in their marketing to say, oh, we're a sanctuary, or oh, we conserve animals, and they really don't. So and there are definitely good ones out there, definitely reputable ones, but you just have to do your research and make sure that the ones that you're supporting are legit. I cannot count like the number of reviews that I'll read like on TripAdvisor of people who will go to sanctuaries, and they're just like, I was mortified when I went, or horrified when I went to see like how the animals were being treated. Like there's this one really popular one that I always see. I think it's like, I don't know where it is, but it's like people are posing like these leopards out in the water. And so the other day I like researched it to see what people were saying. And there were a lot of people who were saying, yeah, like we went out there and the leopards were literally in these tiny cages, but you never see that on Instagram. You just see them out in the water, frolicking, looking like they're free and happy. But what you don't see is what goes on behind the scenes, and like how the animals are like caged up or being abused or not being fed well. And so a lot of times tourists will go and they'll see that for themselves. But it's too late, because, you didn't read the TripAdvisor comments. But that's why I always tell people, like, go to TripAdvisor or go to like, just Google it in general and see what people are saying and see what the reviews are before you go there, instead of just showing up and then experiencing it for yourself.
That's good advice.
And in terms of your influencer marketing collaborations, two buckets: your favorite brand partnership that you've ever had, and then the weirdest request that you've ever had. Now that's a two-part question that we always ask, because there's answers are all over the board. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. Favorite collaboration might have been Memphis. So yeah, earlier this year I did a collaboration with Memphis Tourism, and it was just such a fun trip. I just loved how easy it was. They were just so respectful of my time, and of what I wanted to do. And, you know, even like just me being vegan, like even though Memphis is known for barbecue, they were just like, oh yeah, we still want to work with you. Like come and show like the side of Memphis where you can get like good vegan food. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, like, you know, we love you and we love what you stand for and your content. Like, come on over. And so they let me show like a different side to Memphis that you might not see in a typical blog post or in a typical video. And they loved, what made me just so happy was just they loved the video so much. And it gave me a chance to like really show off like what I can do in terms of making travel guides for tourism boards. So it was a really great project. I had a blast making the travel guide and people really loved the content. So that made me really happy. So it's always a good thing when I get to do what I love to do and I get such good feedback from the people who watch the videos and read the blog posts, and of course from the actual client itself. So Memphis Tourism, they're awesome. Weirdest request, I won't say I've gotten weird requests, but I've worked with, people have approached me in very shady ways. Like for example, a car rental company approached me. We had the deal all laid out and I was supposed to go to California to work with this car rental company. And 2 days before I was going out there, I guess the person who I was working with got laid off. And so somebody else came into the picture and was like, yeah, so I'm new here and I've just been reviewing all the emails and we're actually not going to offer you the rate that the previous person offered you. Are you willing to do this, plus this, plus this, plus this, added more stuff for me to do and lowered the rate? And I said, absolutely not. I said, that's very disrespectful and unprofessional. And especially to go down on the rate, which was very offensive, like the rate that they offered. And it was very obvious that they weren't aware of how much work that goes into what we do. And so I just really respect the brands and the PR companies and the agencies that get, you know, the amount of work that goes into what we do, and they respect, you know, the industry enough to, you know, understand like what we're worth and, you know, what we bring to the table. But that was probably the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me with like a brand.
That's ridiculous. Now you don't have to go public with the name of the rental company, but you can tell us afterwards and we'll skip them.
Okay. Yeah, that was bad.
And you've been in influencer marketing for a while, so where do you see it heading in the next 5 years or so?
Well, I think we're just scratching the surface with influencer marketing. I remember I talked to a PR person. I went on a press trip last year and she asked me, she was like, you know, do you think like this bubble is going to burst and like Instagram marketing is going to go away? And I was like, no, I think it's just getting started. I think it's so new. And so people are still trying to figure it out. But more and more, you know, I'm getting contacted by brands and PR companies who I can tell really understand this industry. And they've been educated, or, you know, they're very, they're just used to working in this industry to a point where they don't insult me with me saying, oh, hey, here's this free product. Can you give me a blog post, a YouTube video, an Instagram post, and, you know, I don't know, like 5 photos on your Instagram feed. You know, I don't get those anymore, but I used to. People would ask for the sun and the stars and the moon and then, you know, not offer to actually, you know, pay what I'm worth or give me something that's actually valuable or something that even relates to my audience that they, you know, because it's all about the audience at the end of the day, right? And, you know, I keep hearing this thing over and over again, influencers are the new celebrity, and some people will disagree, but I kind of agree with that. You know, I feel like content creators are kind of like the new celebrities. And the thing about, you know, influencers and content creators is we're just so relatable. You know, unlike a celebrity who you pay to endorse your product, you know, say they post something on their Instagram page, they're not going to respond in the comments to all the people who are leaving comments, but we do. You know, we as content creators, like, we really value like our audience and our followers because they are our community, and you know, they see themselves in us, and so that's why blogging is so popular. That's why we like to read blog posts, because we feel like we can relate to the people whose blog posts we're reading, and so. That's why I think influencer marketing is not going anywhere anytime soon. It is just such an effective way to market. I mean, think about how much money you spend producing a professional commercial, just the production of it, right? And then on top of it, you got to spend a whole other amount of money just to broadcast it. And you don't even know who you're reaching with your message. With influencer marketing, you're actually reaching a specific niche audience, especially if you do it the right way and you work with a content creator influencer who has the type of audience that's interested in what it is you're trying to sell or is interested in the message that you're trying to deliver. So it's not going anywhere. It's super effective, and I'm very grateful to actually have a career in this industry.
Want to join Intellifluence as an influencer for free? It's easy. Visit Intellifluence.com, click on the influencers link, and then click on the Join for Free button to sign up. Once you have registered, you will get immediate access to our influencer marketplace where you can browse relevant offers from brands and apply on the spot. You'll also be eligible to receive attractive product and service pitches from brands. There's absolutely no cost to join as an influencer, so we hope you take advantage of our service. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and well, you know the drill. Until our next episode, keep being awesome.